Good evening, I am Dr. Oculus. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. So when I was recording this game, I was trying out a new microphone. This microphone plugs into the front of my PC, into the microphone slot, and then it records brilliant. I did a quick test on Audacity first, the microphone came through perfectly. What I didn't factor in was the fact that the Oculus Go is plugged into essentially the same socket but on the back of the PC. So when I started up OBS to record the Oculus Go, it bullied out the microphone and left me with zero audio. Now, I've got the audio of the game, as you can hear by now, but I figured rather than just abandon this game completely, I would try and save the video and sort of treat it like a director's commentary. So I will sort of talk you through, you'll be able to see me, but you won't be able to hear what I'm saying, and we'll just see how it goes, see if you like it. Let me know in the comments. So Smash Hit is a fantastic little game that I absolutely love to play just in my own spare time. That's why you can see I'd already made it to level 8. Now what you need to do is throw your balls at these crystals, and as you throw more and more balls, hit more and more crystals, you notice that we start building up a bar around the balls at the top of the screen. When you fill that bar, the result is now we have 2 balls, and it'll keep going this way all the way up until we hit 5 balls. Now, once you get 5 balls, you think that the game will just infinitely become easier, but it kind of doesn't. It sort of gets a little bit difficult, so you have to start judging whereabouts certain balls are going to land. But we'll speak more about that later on. Now, if you miss a crystal, or if you crash into something, you will lose your multi-ball, and if you're crashing, you will also lose a lot of your stored balls. Stored balls are built up by shooting the crystals. You see these are worth 3 balls, so every time I hit one, it increases by 3. So this is the first power-up of the game. Now this allows you to just shoot one ball infinitely, rapid fire, pull the trigger and balls fly out, and you can get those pretty much, wherever you need, but it is very, very short-lived. Now we've got up to 4 balls. This is the first door of the game. That door automatically opened, but soon we will have to trigger the doors. You'll see more about that when we get through it next. So now we've reached the maximum number of 5 balls. Now you'll see they come out in a pattern somewhat similar to the shape of the dice, where they come out in, one in each corner and one in the center, which can be quite useful, but then when you start looking, you have to figure out where each ball is going to land and try and place them specifically, and that's where it can get a little bit more difficult. 1 ball, you look somewhere, you pull the trigger, off it goes. 5 balls, you look somewhere, you pull the trigger, and you could quite easily just miss. So the pace of the game at the moment is quite steady, almost walking pace, and it is sort of steadily increasing in speed and therefore increasing the difficulty the further into the game we go. So that's the end of the first checkpoint. Now the game will start to escalate, make things a little bit harder, get a little bit faster. One of the things I have to notice and say about this game is the fact that it looks absolutely fantastic in the Oculus Go on the display, and it is silky smooth, although I will admit every now and again it'll have a slight brain fart and chug briefly, but nowhere near enough to ruin the immersion or the experience. And there we go, that is my first mistake of the game, followed by a second mistake of the game. So you'll notice that as I crashed into there, I've now lost my 5 balls, and then also to top it off, I lost a handful of balls, meaning I now only have 82 balls in which to play with. Once your balls run out, game over, you have to start again. As you can tell, the balls there had their own physics. If I didn't fire that third round off, I would have absolutely missed that. Speaking of missing things, I just missed a crystal, which means I'm now back to 1 ball again. Very disappointing, but at least I didn't lose a handful of balls in the process. I didn't gain the balls I could have had either. So I decided to sort of do the director's commentary because this game is an absolute gem. If you've got an Oculus Go and you don't own this game, I thoroughly recommend that you very seriously give it a go. It is a fantastic game and it is wonderful for you to play, but I've got to say, I would love to use this to show off the Oculus Go, but as this speed escalates, and then you'll see later on in the video as well, there are certain elements I don't think the uninitiated will be able to handle, and that unfortunately means I don't want to put new people in it, but it is so much fun. I really wish I could. Maybe if there was a mode that was just like endless, I think there might even be an endless mode where you're just sort of playing for fun, just so people can get used to the camera movement whilst it's strapped to the face. Could certainly be a good addition to the game. So now we're starting to see some new obstacles. These obstacles are particularly difficult because you have to try and gauge which one it is that's going to hit you in the face and which one it is you're going to miss. Sometimes I did find just waiting until the very last second was kind of all I needed to do, but it's if you are willing to be brave. So these crystals, now you'll notice they're a diamond shape as opposed to the pyramid that we had before, and that means they're now worth more balls, but they are going to get increasingly more difficult. Try and find that sweet spot and hit them soon. So don't get me wrong when I say that the game doesn't exactly get easier with 5 balls. That was a trust issue. I didn't know if that was going to swing back around, smack me in the face and lose my balls. That's the last thing you want to do. So I thought, well, have you ever seen Zombieland, where it's like, this is not the time to get stingy with the ammo? This is not time to get stingy with the ammo. It is better to just, you know, use that extra ball and keep your 5 balls than it is to leave it to chance. So these lasers, they will vaporize any and everything that touches them. The only way around them is to shoot the pink bits, purple bits, the coloured bits on the edges. They do certainly cause a few headaches. The dropping in, when those pillars start dropping in, there's a very short moment where you are sat there just like, wow, that is literally like something has just dropped in front of my face. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a great effect, and the physics on the glass itself, so it does still break. It's a fantastic little touch. I absolutely love it. And that's it. I wanted to just highlight this game. You'll see from this I actually have the game of my life, which is why I didn't want to record it again. I wanted to put this version out because I don't know if I'll ever get better than this. I think this is like the best I will ever do. So, checkpoint 4, this is halfway the furthest I've ever got, and things truly have escalated now. These propellers, you always sort of manage to knock out at least 3 of them, and you're just like, the one that I miss, that is going to be the one that gets me, and it fills me with dread every single time I go through. The swinging hammers. So anything that is silver or chrome in this game, you cannot destroy that with balls. So you then have to start finding their weaknesses. In this case, it's the glass handles. They all have their own different behaviours. Sometimes they swing back and forth, sometimes they just swing wildly, sometimes they're predictable, and other times they are just your doom waiting to smack you in the face. Did its job, it caught me off guard, it took my balls. But enough about my wife. The game, I just crashed. So we've got 238 balls. Things are going quite swimmingly well, I think. And then I crashed into a door. That's what happens when you don't hit the button. New power-up. So this turns your balls basically into explosives, shattering everything around it. At this point in the game, that shattering ball, it's kind of pointless. You only ever hit like one thing with it, and then everything else you kind of were going to get hit anyway. So about here, I think I'm explaining how I, rather than aiming for the middle and cutting out where I'm going to go, I like to just, you know, chop off both ends and let the middle fall away. I feel a bit safer doing that. Yeah, alright, it uses extra balls, and sometimes you can just wait till the last second, smash out the gap and pray it's enough. But, you know, like I said before, this is no time to get stingy with the ammo. So this is where I fear you would lose people without decent VR legs. I'll have to admit, even me, with my years and years of experience behind me with virtual reality, kind of sends you a little bit, just a little bit odd. I found myself wanting to twist my head to match the movements, which is probably what I'm explaining there as I shake my head. Needless to say, I think that could certainly ruin the experience for VR noobs. So, yeah, I don't know, I suppose maybe one time I'll try putting a VR noob into it, but I don't think it's going to end well. See, the VR creators out there, a lot of you have probably shown virtual reality to other people, so you've got a bit of an idea as to what you should or shouldn't be starting people off on. I mean, let's face it, Beat Saber is the game that VR needed, and the game that VR deserved, because it's something that you are stationary, it's very intuitive in that you're just swinging your arms, and it is so much fun that it will just drive people to want to do more. This could very easily be that game, but because of the moving camera, I just don't recommend you start somebody off in this. And while we're talking about like VR legs and things like that, my mother's boyfriend, I suppose is probably the best way to refer to him, got an Oculus Go after Christmas. He tried mine. Christmas Eve was just like, I need to have one of these. So he went out and bought an Oculus Go. Now, my mum is deathly afraid of heights and roller coasters. So when they saw that they could simulate the fun without the danger, she thought it would be a good idea to give it a go. And then said, no, I officially know that roller coasters are not for me. I tried one in virtual reality and I instantly just felt sick. I started sweating, and yeah, it was just too realistic. I couldn't handle it, and that is when I felt like I failed her as a lover of VR, because I let them go unrestrained without any kind of prior knowledge or warning. I don't know, I feel like I did warn them, but they went out and tried roller coasters, which is why I always say, you know, the people that watch the video of the Russian dude in a shopping mall just falling on his ass because somebody poked him while he was in a roller coaster and losing his shit. Everybody wants to be that guy. Like, they want to recreate that moment. They want to get on a roller coaster and feel the exhilaration. And then there's always the people that are, you know, in the surroundings that want to be the guy that pushes him. And I hate those people, but this is about Smash Hit. So, yeah, it's a shame that so many roller coasters exist in virtual reality, because everybody wants to start on them, and it is the worst place to start. VR sickness is real, people. It is. I eventually told my mum that what she had experienced was basically sim sickness, and that she could probably work her way up to going onto the roller coasters again. Whether she'll ever do it, I don't know, but I've told her basically to never ever try and plow through that, or, you know, try and get over sim sickness, just to let it ride its course. Now, this is where things really escalate. As you saw there, those squares, now they just start randomly firing out of places at me. And, well, they are a pain in the ass, which, speaking of pain in the ass, they are an absolute nightmare, because they're really difficult to sort of predict, and of course the bit that's going to do the damage is invincible. It's a fantastic little touch, and it really does sort of escalate things, take things to the next level. It's the perfect evolution of this game. I swear I nailed that. So there, the white holes, that's where the squares are coming from. So I have to be aware of those at all times. And we missed that one. Oh, there we go. Nailed by a square. No time to get stingy, Doc. So things really started to go downhill from here. We lost a lot of balls in that section. A lot of balls. So, new obstacles. These things are, well, you just gotta throw balls at them and pray, really. Because the geometry of them, it just makes life so much more interesting. And then to top it off, when they don't break, they just get faster. There's a lot of that there that was just done by pure throw and pray. You just throw the balls and think, yeah, that looks to be about right where I needed it, and then just move on to your next target. Mr. Ball, Mr. Crystal there. Didn't realise it at the time. Figured that's what screwed me over. This is where I've now decided that I would rather keep playing than, you know, have lots of balls. Stop getting stingy, start breaking stuff. And now this is newly trodden ground. I've just passed my best distance in the game. I got quite a lot of balls too. So the centre of those squares, made of metal, invincible, and I think that's about the time when I figured that out. New shapes to contend with. These are an absolute nightmare. Because your brain just cannot process where it's going to be. Well, maybe your brain could, but my brain couldn't. Where'd that ball come from? I knew I'd missed that. Tried to catch it last second, but sometimes you just gotta live with the consequences. And with the rotation again. So all good fun till somebody loses their lunch. That was bullshit. Well, it wasn't, but that's why I think I screamed at the time. That should have nailed me. So I guess we're, you know, even. Now things have really escalated. This has just turned into a massive vomit comet. But I managed to keep my lunch, keep going, keep surviving. I can't see a VR noob getting this far, but on the off chance that they did, there is no way that they can sit through this. That was a cheeky little move I was not expecting to happen. It's just become like flying clay pigeon shooting now. Pull. Pull. So about now, you kind of sort of get the sense that there's been a shift in gravity. And all of a sudden you notice that there's no ball drop. Like the balls are pretty much just going straight forward. It's a really nice touch, and I was kind of shocked when I realised what was or wasn't happening. Checkpoint 11. This is all untrodden ground for me. And those things are an absolute nightmare. They, however, are pretty good. Although I'm sure I'll crash into one in the very near future. That was scary. Alright folks, so I think I've said everything I can say about this. What I will do is I will just let you enjoy the rest of this video without me chiming in. Thank you very much for watching if you've got this far. If you like this and want to see me do a few more director's commentaries, maybe let me know what you would like to see me do. Different kind of game in the comments. And the Doctor is out.